Hello and welcome back, guys. All right, so let's add a submit test button right here. Now, as usual, before we continue, I must ask you to subscribe because that means a lot to me. If you can subscribe, I will be encouraged to make more videos, and it costs you literally nothing to do so. So please hit the subscribe button and I will appreciate. And if you can support me on Patreon as well, there are links in the description. I also have a link to my PayPal if you want to make a one-time donation. Just check the link in the description. All right, so with that out of the way, let's continue our lessons. So I want to put a submit button right here, and let's go, where is this? So we only need a submit button if things have not been submitted yet. So we will put it in this. So I'm going to lower this a little bit, push everything inward, and let's put a button right here. So button like so. Now, once you put a button like this, make sure you're not putting this inside a form. Okay, so the form is outside because otherwise this button automatically submits. If you don't want it to be a submit button, just change this to type button like so. But we don't need that because this is not inside a form, so it will not submit. So we'll say submit like that. And what do we do here? I want to add an A tag so that it goes somewhere once we click. So of course we will need our root here and then slash something. Now we want to send ourselves to the same page. That way we can see this change once we submit. And this is tech test and then the ID of the test. So here it's tech underscore test and then slash. Where is the test row here? Questions. Did I use the test row anywhere? There is a button here. Oh, that button is only on the other side, I see. It's not about the question, the tests. Where is the test row? Let me go back to tech tests in here. And let's see. Okay, so it's just row. Okay, so that's good. Let's say row, and we need the test ID, and then close that, and then slash. I want us to add something, so I'll put a question mark there to add some get variables. So here I will say submit equals to true, something like that. Okay, and then the closing A tag must come down here. Goody. Okay, so yeah, let's refresh, and there we go. So submit, let's be more specific, submit test. There we go. Very good. Now we need this more presentable, of course, so let's add some classes. Let's put button and button, I don't know, button danger, something like this. And let's float it to the other side. So I'm just going to float end, so it's on the other side. Yeah, submit test. Or if I don't want it to float, maybe it can still float. Just let me put a break tag over here. So these guys are on separate lines like this. Okay, so this test has not been submitted. Submit test. Now, once I click submit, it takes me, it refreshes the page, which is good, but it doesn't do anything. But it adds a get variable at the end, which is submit is equal to true. I just need to look for that. Now, before we do anything, I want this to ask the user to be sure if they want to submit. So let me add some JavaScript. I'll put it right at the end so that it loads last. So let me put some scripting there. Now I was avoiding putting JavaScript, but it seems it can be useful to add just a little bit of JavaScript so you can see if ever you wanted to add JavaScript, that's how you would do it. Instead of importing a file for everything, this is just a simple function we want to create here. So let's add a function. The reason we add a function is because we don't want this code to run immediately we load the page. We want it to be called, to wait to be called. So that's why we add a function. So function submit test, like this. Okay. So in here, what we want, I just want an alert here to see that we are here. Whatever that word is, but as long as it's something. So I'm going to copy this and let's go to the a tag itself of this thing we've created. Where is that button anyway? It's hiding. Okay, right here. Let's say on click. When this is clicked, do something. Submit test. Now keep in mind that whenever you put on something, on an action, on a specific event, whatever you put here is JavaScript. Now you can put a whole JavaScript function in here. It doesn't matter. I can say something like alert and say good, something like this, right? And you will see this happen once I refresh and click. Oh boy, it's that bracket there, shouldn't be there. So let's refresh. If I click here, you see an alert, good, but it still refreshes the page, right? Right. So whatever I put here is JavaScript. It's full-time JavaScript. So let me just undo here until we put submit test. Let me remove that as well. So instead, I want to run a function. So I'm calling this function in here because this is how you call a function. So that's JavaScript, good. So down here, we are calling this and it should echo out that. So refresh and hit that. Okay, good. So what I want to do is to first to ask the question, are you sure you want to submit? So I can easily do that by using the confirm function like this, because this function creates a prompt, right? I can put some text in here, say, are you sure you want to submit this test? Yes. Put all those, I think some of these should be exclamation points just to be sure. So the confirm returns true or false. If you click OK, it's going to return true. If you click no or cancel, it's going to return false. So what happens is once this is run, it halts the script. So it will run this and wait for a response, whether that response is true or false. So we can set that response to a variable and say response is equal to, and then we check whether this response was true or false right here by putting an if statement. So we can do that and say if resp like this, it means the user selected OK, right? Then we can do if not, yeah, because we're only interested in when they are not going to cancel. When they cancel, that's when we are only interested. Are you sure? No. Then when they say no, we are interested. If they say yes, then we let nature take its course. We let everything that was going to happen continue to happen. Now you don't have to do if resp like this. You can just get the whole confirm, cut it out and put it in here because it does return true or false anyway. So that will still work like this. So here, if we'll put a not at the beginning, if it returns false, then we just say prevent default. So to prevent the default, we must capture the event, and the event is captured here. So you can put any text here. It's just a variable name, so don't worry about it. However, you must send this from here and tell it you want to capture the event. So this must actually be this word event. If you write another word here, it won't recognize what that word is. So event is a specific word in JavaScript, so you must put it there to capture that event. Now you're not restricted to just submitting event. You can submit some other data here as you wish, because this is just a normal function. So as long as those are defined variables, it's going to know what they are. or you can send some text like this, a string, right? That way you can identify where the click came from by writing its name here if you want that. So, but for now we're just sending an event. That's okay. So let's come back here. So we'll capture that event as E. This side, this is just a variable. So you can say event or you can write E. That's okay because it's already been sent. So here what I'll say is e.prevent default, like this. What this does is it's going to look at the default action of this event you've clicked and prevent it from running. So let's see here. And then I'll just say return so that we exit the function from there. So if I refresh now and click, yeah, it just refreshes and it doesn't prevent the default from happening, which is not cool at all. So because it's supposed to show me this and it isn't. So something is wrong. Submit test, let me see there. On click, submit test event. So what's happening, I guess, is that it's first of all refreshing before it goes to the on click event. So let's see if that's what's happening. Let me refresh this in. So it seems it refreshes before it can alert me, but that's weird because let's see if I say alert here directly in here. Let's see if we get that. Refresh and click. Okay, we do get that. So that's not what's going on here. Let's undo this and on click. So what's going on here? So maybe there's a problem here. So what I would do is put the prevent default right at the top here. That way, regardless, we prevent the default. So click and you see nothing happens. Now let's inspect the element and go to console to see the error that we get. So it's saying uncaught reference confirm is not defined. Oh, okay. So maybe my bad. Maybe I used M here and should have used N. So wrong function name, I guess. So let's close that. I'm confident things will work now. Then click. There we go. So are you sure you want to submit? If I say cancel, notice the page does not refresh. Click. If I now say OK, the page will refresh. So this is how you can add these questions for the user. Alrighty then. Instead of having to design a whole pop-up from HTML, which can take a lot of time and space. Alright, so at least now we have something that's resembling a button. We just have to make it work now. So let's do that in the next video.